Well, good evening, friends, loved ones, people I haven't seen in a while, so on, so forth, etc., etc. You know what? Bugger it. Let's put a bit of background music on, shall we? Everything's better with a bit of background music. Before I tell you about the song on, though, I'll tell you something interesting. And for those who are worried, I'm thinking I trashed a hotel room in 2014. No, I didn't, but I certainly made it look like I did. In 2018, there was a lot going on in 2018. Believe it or not, it was the third time I was working for Loma Eldridge, and we'll talk about that another time. All right, where do I begin? A lot of stuff happened, and right before it really kicked off, ninth. It was in January 2018. I'm sorry, I can't fathom the date right now. I have had quetiapine. Quetiapine is an antipsychotic drug. I'm not personally a fan of antipsychotic drugs, but the benefit of quetiapine over, say, something like lorazepam or anything from the Valium family tree is that they're very addictive, whereas quetiapine is an antipsychotic, which in mild dosages has a very good sedative effect. And I look, as someone who's personally against antipsychotic drugs for my own personal situation, I will say that quetiapine is an excellent, excellent drug. If you need to sort of like, I would honestly I don't work for the people who manufacture quetiapine, but I would definitely, if I was involved with the medical profession, I would make quetiapine much more available and regularly used than the benzodiazepines that we're using right now, because they are causing a lot of problems. Anyway, I don't want to digress. Let me get to this fucking put my running shoes and get to the fucking point, eh? So, blah blah blah. Now, 2018, sorry, 2000, end of 2017 was 2 years after my brother-in-law Chris Ford committed suicide. It was then a year after one of my close, dearest friends, Irene, she lost one of her sons to suicide. I don't go into too much, but it was obviously incredibly tragic. I'll disclose one thing that Irene did tell me is that she's obviously she's had other members of her family. I think it was a brother and someone else who also committed suicide, and she did say, which is that sometimes it's kind of like a trait. Is in there are some people that are susceptible to suicide. I did think about it a lot in 2015. Like in 2015, after sorry, keep my shit together. After I did my little exponential, existential, excellent adventure, or should we call it? I I really thought at the start of 2015 it was going to be me. I was going to kill myself. I really did. In fact, I planned it. I was convinced it was going to be April the 17th, 2015, and I was going to walk down Silver Sands, go straight down Delgado Parade onto Burns Beach Road, through Burns Beach, and then the reason I chose this location as the place I wanted to end my life is because, obviously, after what happened in 2014, I didn't have a phone, didn't even want to have a phone. Had no social media, had no contact, wasn't smoking cannabis. I wasn't taking any medication, like I just wasn't, because I don't need the medication that they provided. It doesn't matter how much I say that, they don't listen. But my sister's partner at the time, I called him my brother-in-law. They weren't actually engaged. Well, I think they were engaged. I don't know the story. They were in love with him. We're going to get married. So as far as I was concerned, Chris Ford was my brother. He gave me an opportunity to go work for him as a labourer. Turns out I'm fucking pretty good. I won't go into that. But basically, the first job I worked on was completing the second story of a house in Burns Beach. And I remember climbing the ladder, because obviously you put the mix in, put it on the hoist, climb the ladder. I'm not really scared of heights, but like climb the ladder. And as you climb the ladder, I'd be looking into the natural scrubland and bushland of Burns Beach, which has got very interesting historical significance, but I'll talk about that later on. And I kept looking out, and I was looking at the bushes, and I just thought to myself, wow, this really hurts. Like, I'm really emotionally in pain right now. I'm grieving, and I was grieving the loss of something. That's not the point of looking at you, but I was grieving. And very quickly lost track or thought of what I was doing. Just sort of disappeared into the depression. I mean, obviously Chris saved me, but do you want to know who actually literally saved my fucking life in 2015? John Oliver. So he does a show on Sunday nights. And obviously, because I live in Perth, which is exactly 12 hours behind New York, his show becomes available early mid-afternoon on a Monday. And obviously, 2015 was where everyone was getting ready for the 2016 presidential election, something I was really getting hyped up for because, look, I've been a Hillary Clinton fan longer than most. We'll talk about that later. Anyhow, I wasn't smoking any cannabis, so I was depressed. I was physically, emotionally in pain, especially working my ass off as a brickies labourer. But I used to look forward to every Monday. Monday, obviously, is the start of the working week. You think, fuck, that'd be a shit day. But you know what? It was the one day John Oliver was on. And not everyone I knew was watching it, but I used to watch it. But I've seen, I would say probably 97% of all his shows. There's a couple I still haven't seen. And there's a couple of them where the show's come on. He's done his intro. He's hilarious as always. Fucking spot on. And then the topic becomes something like, something really dark and depressing. And then sometimes I'm just like, there's not today, John, not today, not today, thank you, but not today. But the fact that I would look forward to every Monday so much, and his show kept getting so good, and life started slowly improving, that date of April 17 got pushed back a little bit, and pushed back a little bit more. And before I know it, I was earning good money working with Chris because he got rid of his stepbrother, of all things, as an apprentice labourer and decided to work just as a brickie and one labourer. And we made good money. I was literally about to get my brickies tradies license. I was going to fucking be a brickie. It was literally, like, that was going to be my comeback story. That was how I was going to do it. But as fate would have it, at the end of November, he committed suicide in Alcabas. And I never saw his suicide note. He posted it on Facebook and then did it. I never saw it. I still haven't seen it. It's just something I can't really bring myself to look at. Fucking hell, I'm ugly when I cry. Anyway, back to 2018. I knew I was going to hospital, so I decided, fuck it. They're going to take me to hospital. Let's make them fucking catch me. The speed, I didn't exceed 68 kilometers per hour, but technically I was involved in a high-speed police pursuit, and technically I should have got 6 months mandatory under the system. Well, let's just say, by luck, by connections, by representing myself, I walked away from that catastrophe with a fucking fine of $250 and 18 months suspension of license. Why? Because I'm fucking Chris Waller, bitch. Excuse me, I just had to pump myself up a little bit. But anyway, during that, I fucking